Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Endor Wars. Now, the announcement was made some time ago regarding the Endor Wars multiplayer series between myself, Tortugapower, aka the sexy neckbeard, and the Historical Gamer. Now, there has been some delays. The Historical Gamer has been moving as of late, so he has been rather busy. And things have gone in the way, and things have been delayed. So, I'm making this so we can kickstart things off. Now, this will not be the true first turn, technically. It will be the turn where we go over war plans. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show the options that we are to use. So we have, let's see, so generals will not be randomized, so their stats will not be randomized. So if a general is good historically, he will be good historically, well, in the game. If he was poor historically, he will be poor in the game. Historical attrition, so we will have historical level of attrition for ourselves. I've set traffic penalty to medium, so basically, as we do have to play these turns, it would be nice if we could try and speed things up. We don't quite have 4 years available to play. And yes, I personally am going to have automated replacements off because I find them ridiculous. Foreign entry is set to to normal, make things interesting. Delayed commitment, we might have right, from 1 hour to several days. Now that could be rather interesting. We'll go for a medium sort of delay then. And depending on the commander's strategic rate and depending on whether friendly units are already engaged in battle, so that will make commanders with higher strategic values more valuable, which is going to be rather interesting. So we'll have that on medium then. And yes, I've gone over activation rule, randomize, yes. Naval blockade bosses, we'll have them, we'll have them as, what should we have them as? We'll go with just turn them off, so manual control basically. So that means that we'll have to put our ships in there manually, take them out manually, and have them resupply, etc. The reason why I'm not going to have it like on automated where they're basically taken care of, because that makes things difficult. As the Central Powers player, I do need to rely upon the other two players making some kind of mistakes with their navies for me to have any sort of chance, as I do have a good size high seas fleet, but it's nowhere near the size of the British Grand Fleet, not to mention the French fleet in combination, as well as the Russian fleet, which isn't too large, but it is still formidable. AI ranking. AI doesn't really matter, as obviously we'll not be using AI. So there we go. My system settings are personally. Right, so increase that. Okay. Right, terrific. So now we're going to go into here. So obviously I am going to be playing as the Central Powers, so let's take a look at our alliance so far. So here we go. This is the allegiance to the Central Powers cause at this moment in time. So it's the German Empire and the Austrian Empire. In the future, we may have allies in nations such as Bulgaria and the Ottoman Empire, though we will have to put some legwork in there to actually secure them as true allies. As if we go over here, we can see this rather small screen, but it's very important. So we can see here there is a slight swing to the Central Powers in nations such as Sweden. Norway's neutral, Switzerland's neutral, Denmark neutral. Romania is somewhat aligning towards the Central Powers, which is quite important actually. Bulgaria too. While Greece is neutral, Serbia is heavily in favour of the Entente, obviously because the war will be started with them in the following turn. Belgium, neutral. Holland, somewhat towards the Central Powers. Spain does not factor in sadly, nor does China. Persia, slightly more to the Central Powers. So that's rather interesting. The USA is, at the moment, in favour of the Central Powers. At the moment. That will change in time, as politics go to work. So there's a few nations who can be swung in favour. Japan, for instance, is in favour of the Entente, so is Portugal. So those are two nations that the Central Power, the Entente could pick up rather easily, which would be fairly decent for them. They do have some power. Okay. So another agreement I've made between myself, the Historical Gamer, aka the sexy neckbeard, and the Historical Gamer is that I will use the historical war plans while they are free to choose their own plans. And the reason behind this is that they felt they do not have that much experience with the game, and in all fairness, I do have experience with the game. I do know the fundamentals of the game. It has been a long while since I have played, but obviously it's like putting on another old pair of boots. You will like fit into it soon enough. Just like riding a bike. So I have agreed to that. They are free to make their own war plans, and as such I will do so now. Right then. Franz Ferdinand has been assassinated. On the 28th of June 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, and his wife Sophie, Duchess of Hohenberg, was shot dead in Sarajevo, Ragravilo Princip, one of a group of the 6 Bosnian Serb assassins coordinated by a parliamentary group, the Black Hand. The political objective of the assassination was to break off Austro-Hungarian South Slav provinces so they could be combined into Greater Serbia. Through the liberal-minded, Franz Ferdinand was not overly mourned by the ultra-conservative Austrian government, I should say though. Emperor Franz Joseph and the Austrian military leaders used his death as a convenient excuse to press for war with Serbia, which would ultimately lead to the great catastrophe of the Great War. So there we go, that is the background for the First World War. It is time to prepare for war. Each of the great powers planned extensively for deployment of their massive armies. You can choose a war plan from the military screen on the first turn. Each plan has its own costs and effects, so choose wisely. Right then, so we'll press F3, go to the middle screen, and we can select our war plans. So, as the German Empire and the Austrian Empire, and indeed the Central Powers, we shall be using the historical plans as agreed. So I shall be taking the Schlieffen plan. Germany has 7 armies in the west, the 1st to the 7th. Germany automatically declares war against Belgium and occupies Luxembourg. There's no penalties here. Obviously, then the historical ones anyway. During the turns of August 1914, Germany will gain objectives on Brussels, Lille, Amiens, Reims, and Saint-Quentin. Obviously, I've just butchered those French pronunciations, so yes, enjoy that. We do gain engagement points. Rail capacity drops by 800 initially, recovering by 150 each turn in August, and 250 each turn in September. So it will take about roughly 2 or so months for us to recover that rail capacity, which is going to be a critical phase during the opening actions of the war. German Grand Headquarters will be established at Mainz under von Moltke. 1st to 5th armies will initially be attached to the Grand Headquarters, and Grand Headquarters will be fixed during the August 1914 turns. During the turns of August 1914, any German leader in Belgium or Germany will automatically be active, and German units in Belgium will gain plus 30% cohesion at the end of each August 1914 turn. So very, very powerful there. That little bonus. Various. So, Great Britain will shift randomly but heavily in favour of the Entente. So they may not join immediately, but they will be very close to doing so. Okay, so that is the plan for Germany. The plan for Austria-Hungary is... it's by far the worst plan I've ever seen. The Conrad plan. Austria faces Serbia while also engaging Russia as a priority. Like, how does that make sense? You have one priority, not 2. Either way. During the turns of August 1914, Austria will gain objectives of Lublin, Ivangorod, Kowal, Dubno, and Belgrade. 8 engagement points, rail capacity drops by 600, recovers by 100 each turn in August and 200 each turn in September. An Austrian Grand Headquarters will be established at Vienna under Konrad von Hotzendorf. The 1st to the 4th armies will be initially attached to the Grand Headquarters, and the Grand Headquarters will be fixed during August and September 1914 turns. During the turns of August 1914, any Austrian leader in Russian territory will be active, and any Austrian unit in Russian territory will gain plus 30% cohesion at the end of each 1914 turn, August 1914 turn. The 2nd army is in the process of transferring, appears in Budapest, and must be transferred to the front. So we'll have the 2nd army nowhere near the front line, rather it will be in Budapest. So we'll have to use our small amount of rail resources, or just have to top it out and send them manually, well, i.e. march them to the front line. So this will give the Russian player some time to be able to consolidate. But the good thing for us is obviously that nuance about being active inside Russian territory and the 30% cohesion bonus. So in all honesty, I do want to be crossing the territory into Russia for that bonus. Though that applies in August only, not September. So I'll have to be careful. So that is it, Schlieffen and Conrad. This is our plan. Now then. We don't have any units present on the map at the moment, so we can't really see anything. So this video is more or less over. And yes, time until the actual first turn is completed. I don't imagine it'll take long. I mean, once I do finish this video and upload it, I will pass a save on to my colleagues, and we will get things underway. Now, to end of wars is a very fun AGEOD game. It's not perfect, there's a lot of faults, though it is one of the best games I've seen to cover World War I, in such a way as to make it practically similar to real life, as it plays in such a similar way. So, thank you guys, I hope to see you all very soon. Do let me know down below what your thoughts are, and do you think we'll be able to be victorious as the Central Powers? Also a note, the episodes where we are actually playing in the actual game, we will do our best to not look at each other's video, so we would appreciate it if our subscribers who are watching videos of both people or all three would keep the spoilers to an absolute minimum, ideally no spoilers at all, so that we don't have any unfair advantage. We've also talked about the fact that I believe it is is it the Historical Gamer? I can't remember who's who, but I think it's either the Historical Gamer or Tortuga who is playing as France. I think it's Tortuga as France, I'm not entirely sure. No, I think it's Tortuga as Russia, but either way. We've discussed a little while ago that they will be able to share information, but they won't be able to directly look at things. Such as like right now, I can see everything that Austria can. We've discussed that they will be able to show battle results and be able to talk about their motives and their ideas for strategic moves, but they will not be able to load in as Russia, for example, and see exactly what's going on. The reason for that is so we have some ambiguity, some fog of war between the allies, as obviously the communications weren't perfect for the Entente, and it's not going to be perfect for them now. They will be able to coordinate roughly, but not perfectly, and I think that makes things kinda plausible. And as a Central Powers player, I do have full control over Germany and Austria, and obviously with them being a much closer and interlocked alliance, that works out good for me. So it's a little advantage that I have there, having full and direct control over two empires. So until next time guys, thank you for watching, I hope you guys are looking forward to this, I know I am. Goodbye for now.